Okay, let's see. Is this going to function well? Or is it going to be infuriating? The world may never know. It seems to be fine. You know, it seems to be chill and functioning. But considering my luck with my internet recently, I'm not inclined to trust it. Let's see. Need to start figuring out what to do. I don't know if I'm lucky or unlucky with how many times the Wandering Trader has showed up, but like, I wish that it had more useful traits. Like right now, I wouldn't say no to a mangrove seedling. But it is what it is. I need to figure out what to do with this plot. I still haven't decided if I want to do like a fountain or statue or something. I guess considering that this is YouTube and there's probably gonna be like a, I don't know if I can save it as a video actually. Like it's, I don't know what the rules are around that, but like if it's going to be a video, hi, hello, I am in a realm that's with a lot of other friends, but this is my base. And normally I would have things like this in Horizons on, but Mojang keeps updating the game, so the only thing that's up to date is Iris and Sodium and Lithium and shit like that. But I've been slowly building up my base over here in this corner of the world while I'm waiting for University to kick back up. Which I'm really dreading. But c'est la vie, I guess. There's not much I can do for that. Still haven't really figured out what it is that I'm gonna do today, though. I have several projects that I need to get to? Question mark? Not really need, just want. This was a seed that, as you can see, was tampered with by someone with World Painter, who is also a part of the server, and has decided that he wanted to, you know, introduce random pits and different dungeons and different spawners throughout the world. So there's a lot to exploit. Okay. I'm thinking I still have a bunch of building materials on my inventory too from when I was building that house. And hopping through streaming platforms to see if anything works. I find it kind of weird that Twitch is so terrible to start off with, not only discoverability wise, but also just out of everything that I've tried, it's the only platform where when I look up the video or the stream through my phone, it's lagging. It's jittery. It's an inconsistent frame rate. And then just cuts out completely at random times. And then with everything else that I've tried, it's just smooth. It's normal. It's fine. Which, like, I don't know if it has to do anything with, like, how Twitch deals with, like, new accounts or whatever, because I know that they gatekeep a lot of different features, like, I guess as a cost-saving measure, but it's just, I'd at least expect it to still function. Maybe? You know, even for like smaller streamers, because I know that some of my friends still have that, and they actually have, you know, the following, as the kids call it. But I don't know, it's just weird. Seems to be no consistency in terms of that, which I don't know how to feel about. Just generally, Twitch doesn't like Twitch rubs me the wrong way in a lot of ways, as a viewer especially. Because of course I'm just doing this randomly because I have some time off, and I think that it would be like an entertaining thing, at least to ramble to myself for a while. Then I could probably point someone in this direction, and it's like, if you ever have a thought that I'm not particularly well in the head, I did this. But it's just the kind of thing of like, as a viewer, Twitch is just really annoying to deal with. The ads are just so incredibly intrusive, and they're constantly there. The platform loads like shit. The application never works. It's really something where it's like, you go there because there's somebody that you follow that is still on that platform, because it's like the longest legacy platform for streaming that's been up. And that's it. There's no real benefit towards it as a viewer other than the streamer per se. I get that through Partner and shit, they've done like a lot of cool stuff over the years, but I just don't know. It also doesn't help that there's bots in all of these platforms, so it makes it really annoying to deal with. And most people just use Automod or whatever the fuck to like deal with bots, or just ban links entirely from their chat. But you know, it's smaller streamer stuff. I don't know how to do a lot of things. Like even right now, I know that I should probably look up the script to have Minecraft run as a windowless application, but Lord knows I don't know where that is. I need to ask one of my friends that actually uses it to hand it over, just so that I can alt-tab and stuff without having the game just completely cease to exist. Okay, let me check if I have the music on, because whenever it's suspiciously quiet, I keep thinking that it's like that one time where I was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for like the Minecraft music, of course. And just nothing happened for a while, and I never thought to check, oh, do I have it on? Oh, I need food. I wonder how the copper golems are going to deal with things like this. I guess that they need a platform to get up to, so I might just not put a copper golem there whenever that comes out. Finding something to talk about, like the expectation that this might be a video that's up somewhere really makes me want to think of things to yammer on about, but really my mind's drawing a blank. I guess with all of the things that are happening around the world, it's kind of difficult to find something that isn't just the depressing or controversial to bring out. That seems to be just the trend nowadays with the just, especially like my generation, just Gen Z in general. Seems to be like there's one fire, there's another fire, but nothing's ever just normal. You just have to get used to the fire burning. Like your house is burning down, and you just kind of have to deal with it. Which I don't know. So many things feel polarizing nowadays, even though they're not something that normally would be perceived that way. I mean, lo and behold, you know, I would like people to have their own lives and be able to live them without being persecuted, but it's saying that about a lot of groups just gets you the ire of people who are supposedly, like I would expect, just like trying to look out for whatever's positive in life, you know. Oh, the dramatic piano, right, as I say that. I know, crazy times that we live in. I could go mining for more tuff and stuff because I am using the bricks a lot. And I should probably prepare a barn. This is like the grocer, so I want to stock it up with like food and crops and shit. And then I need to make some sort of stables or something over there, so that would be a nice project for now. Do I have any more dirt or stuff that I can take? I'm gonna take the wood, that's for sure. Chest would be nice. I'm gonna keep the sand and glass here. I don't think I'll need it. The cobblestone can come. I won't need TNT right now. Thankfully, one of the first things that I set up in this world was actually a creeper farm, so TNT is nice and abundant. That's the whole reason why I was able to dig out this large portion of the wall. It's also the question of what kind of wood I want to use. I want to keep up a kind of a color palette, but I also want to vary it a decent amount. I don't know. Acacia I'm probably going to collect and then use very sparingly. But spruce can come over. Jungle is nice. Birch I just use for crafting. The chest so I can set it up right at the foot of wherever I'm working, and then I have no dirt. I'm just gonna have to continuously dig for that. I just grab a few stacks of cobblestone, I guess. I don't know. It's nice to retrieve into like such a chill game like Minecraft. Well, chill until shit starts hitting in the fan, but you get what I mean. Like when things get really real, it's things like this that really help like ground you and have a little bit perspective of who you really have in your life. Like it's especially nice because this is a realm. Like I know that people are actively playing in it. I know that people have their homes here and I can visit and interact with them, even though in some cases, you know, that I'm from Puerto Rico and there's people like Canada and Texas and shit. So it's nice to feel like we have some sort of homey nearby interaction, even though that's not really real. We're still in the video game. We're still like by any other regards isolated from each other. But it doesn't feel like that, and it doesn't have to feel like that, right? I only have one piece of wall. Oh, I have gray wall. Never mind. It's because I need to make more beds. This has been my bed for an eternity, and it's still outside of any building. Instead of me thinking like, oh, I built this entire like fucking huge ass building that I'm probably gonna end up using as some sort of hotel or something. And I'm gonna just put beds in the different houses around. forgot to grab a crafting table. Let's go downstairs again. This is the wrong way. Smart. I'm gonna just make 2 right off the bat. I know that I'm gonna use another one in like the barn when I make it. Like I want to make it some sort of barn and farmhouse setup. But that'll be in this area. I also have to clear out all these trees that are in the way. Oh, my door is askew, so I should probably shut that. Oh, it's still doing the stupid frame dropping thing. But it's a lot less than on Twitch. I wonder what it could be. Things still feel fine, more normal than they were over there anyways. But I don't know. I don't know, continuing on the Doom posting shenanigans, I don't know, it feels like it's just a very normal conclusion nowadays, especially with Gen Z, just to feel like things are very much doomed. Which also comes with like positive aspects, really enough. Like it's just being conscious of the things that happened around you, being conscious of the people around you, being considerate of them, of their needs. It's just oftentimes that comes with a clash with previous generations, but don't really have that mentality, or at least broadly don't. I don't know, you'll get selfish people in every generation, and you'll get selfless people as well, but it feels like oftentimes the things that I butt heads with people the most are, you know, me genuinely having faith in other people and wanting to see positive things happen. Like, even if I don't benefit from them directly, like, generally speaking, I want, you know, people to have their rights, to have their health care. Even in cases where that kind of healthcare doesn't really apply to me. Or that I don't need, or that I don't benefit from a particular program. It's just, you know, it's a good thing that people can get the care that they need. And it seems like a simplistic thing to want, like a no-brainer. But there's a lot of people that think differently, you know, if it's not... If I can't get it, then nobody should. But that typically just evolves into, like, the kind of political landscape that we have right now, where it's just like, it's an us versus them mentality, no matter how you slice it. Which, I mean, that underscores of like a pitfall, just general rhetoric that you can oftentimes find yourself in, is if you know, you want to attend things with the severity that they deserve when you're actually confronting like something that is like an obstacle, or like, you know, a genuine threat, but also you don't want to phrase things in an us versus them, because then it sort of legitimizes the response that you might get from the other party. Whereas with a lot of these things, a lot of these issues, they really should be a collaborative sport, so to say. But I guess we'd live in a very different world if people perceived politics as a collaborative sport. I don't know. It also doesn't help that, like, companies have, like, this competitive mindset for everything. So even in cases where, like, products are good, consumers are happy, everyone's making money off of something, they're always the incentive of, like, oh, one up, advance, move forward. A lot of times that just it makes them take drastic steps back that, like, the end user doesn't like. I mean, consumer-grade electronics is the classic example, of course. You know, Apple and Samsung shifting things around and changing ULAs just to, like, either suit corporate needs or just to change something, because that's kind of how that landscape works, right? It's like you don't really need a reason to change something. You just have to change something because that shows that you're doing something. Even if the correct solution, quote unquote, is to do nothing. Like, there are products that really do not need to change over time. SPSS is a good example. Like, something that I use, like, in college. It's an IBM product for statistical modeling, right? For, like, social sciences in particular. But it's something that just generally doesn't change that much. Like, over the years it's gotten a few extra features, but overall the program looks and feels and operates like something of, like, the Windows XP era. Which, like, fun fact, you know, I said Gen Z this, Gen Z that, but it's like, yeah, some Gen Zs still had that in their life. Like, Windows XP is recent enough to where, like, we've interacted with it, at least on older machines. But yeah, whatever. Yeah, you get it with, like, IBM's SPSS. Like, it's just an application that doesn't need to change, so it doesn't change. Though I guess it's a bad example because there are a few things that I wish would change with SPSS, especially how clunky it feels to use. Oh, no. Okay, that's for talking shit on IBM. Yep. God. Yep, that's for talking shit on IBM. I guess I deserve it. Oh, I didn't map the thing to switch items to the offhand. I forget that that's, like, just majorly glitched most of the time with these. But yeah, no, it feels weird. Just on, there's so many things to doom about recently. It's just, it's exhausting. But it's also not like you could just disconnect randomly. Like, occasionally, yes, but overall it's just an anxiety-inducing thing knowing that these things are happening and just ignore them. Like, some people are capable of doing that, some people are just not capable of dealing with the news cycle and all the anxieties that come from it. I understand that, sure. But at the same time, it's just like, I see it as a responsibility, especially with young people, to, like, be educated on these topics. especially since like we've been in the information age for long enough to where we know what someone uneducated can be led to do under the pretense of like civility or goodness. You know, plenty of people buy into harmful ideologies just because they think that it's what's right and it relates most closely to like how they were raised or the biases that they were raised with. Like, I've met plenty of women that buy into the whole trad wife thing because it's just like it's very alluring. You know, the way that it's pitched, the way that it feels. Like, for a lot of people, that just feels, you know, natural and right, which is like, it's hard to explain that, no, it's the reason why we're arguing against it isn't because anything about the lifestyle in and of itself, like the cooking, the cleaning, like nothing of that is like wrong. It's just that you should have the right to alternatives, and that's the whole point of that. That's all the whole point of that conversation. It's also tricky because it's like from a lot of standpoints, like these are political issues, and that's not something that you're ever gonna get that branding, that labeling on the issue as a political issue is just naturally gonna drive people away, or to get people that are very vulcanized on the topic, like want to sway one way or the other, period, with no exceptions. But that's not all of things that are political. Like, it doesn't have to be a grudge match of, like, you know, fighting each other to the death over something. There are plenty of political topics where you could just, like, it's okay, you can agree. Like, there's a good point being made here, just at least acknowledge it. Like, one of the most enlightening things that I've gotten from like commenters, like political commenters on like the internet, is the moment where they can like see a point from the other side of the aisle and acknowledge it as a good point and agree with it. It happens rarely, especially nowadays, where it feels like, you know, one side of the aisle is making reasonable debates on like and like demands on our system, and then there are the Republicans screaming their heads off over things that don't matter, or like trying to distract people from the ways that they've lied or cheated their way out of their responsibilities as civil servants. But you know, that's just, even then, sometimes a point is made that you can agree with. You know, most recently it was like a left-leaning person that, you know, spoke about gun control and how, like, you know, one of the points that they can agree with people from the other side of the aisle is just, I can agree that sometimes, you know, it's fine, you have a right to have a gun, but that doesn't immediately mute the need for like gun reform and for like proper positions and tracking and everything. If anything, it helps. Like, in the US, it would be ignorant to like ignore the fact that there is a culture around guns, and that it's not all negative or memey, like, you take my guns out of my cold dead hands. Like, no, it's just like there is a culture around it, around a shooting range, around like hunting, around all of these things, right? It's just that there is a problem when these things aren't regulated, just the same as there's a problem when drugs or alcohol aren't regulated properly. Like, I feel like it would be very easy for this to become like a bipartisan issue if just people were reasonable about it. But I don't know. One of my friends constantly points out that I'm like I'm being a little bit too hope core-ish about it. You know, it seems a little bit idealistic to put that much faith into people. I genuinely feel like humans in general deserve it. Like, we've collaborated enough throughout history for it to be a thing, for people to be deserving of a little bit of grace. But it's just, it's difficult to keep that mentality currently. I don't know why I just keep hammering on the whole politics thing. But even then, like, talking about, like, Minecraft and Mojang and shit like that's just naturally guides me into that line of thinking. Particularly because Mojang has had an interesting stance throughout its existence on just, like, you know, steering away from having any religious references and such. And it's like, that's a wise idea. Like, I think that it's a good thing to not really represent any religious aspects in this type of game. Just let people do that if they wish. But any, like, in-game representation would be kind of weird. You know, you very easily lend yourself to misrepresenting a culture or a religion, which is, you know, never the intention of the Mojang devs. They're very careful around that type of stuff. But at the same time, it's like a Mojang in particular, like, they're very good about not being super anti-consumerist. Like, sure, there are things about Bedrock where they, like, charge you for random shit. I don't know. I don't play Bedrock. It's charging you for mods and crap like that. It seems particularly scummy, but I blame Microsoft more than I blame Mojang about that. At the end of the day, I bought Minecraft ages ago for 20-ish something dollars, and I still have the fucking license, which is more than I could say about most devs. But thinking about actions like that just drives me down, you know, the whole of, like, why isn't this better legislated? Why aren't other companies, like, forced to have good business practices like that? You know, why is it that faith in your company from the consumer is so undervalued nowadays? Legitimately, it feels like it's a misstep in terms of companies. Like, not just the fact that I as a consumer would like things to be a little less enshittified. Like, I just genuinely feel like it's a misstep to have such bad faith actions be the commonplace thing when it comes to, like, corporate shenanigans, you know? Especially with Nintendo. Nintendo used to be the golden child of, we did it because we did it because we wanted to and we believed in it, so we took sacrifices to hold it up, you know? Iwata and such, there's all sorts of legends about the stuff that he did for the company. But that seems very much dead. It's not even like Nintendo of America is much better, again, since Reggie left. The company is just in general, like, unrecognizable. And I could at one point, you know, pop up my chest and say, like, oh no, it's worth buying into the ecosystem because genuinely they care about the things that they put out, but I don't know, that doesn't feel right nowadays. It's just not a truthful statement anymore. I really hope that changes. People are more conscious about what role consumers fill in the different properties that they back. Like, even with more predatory schemes like gachas, there's still, like, more of a consciousness of, yes, this is a predatory scheme, but what am I getting out of it as a consumer? Is it all bad? Is it completely negative? Are there advantages towards this being a gacha system that I am not seeing? Typically the answer is no. The model is still very predatory, but you know, people are still able to enjoy their husbando game and not go broke. I know I've been enjoying quite a few of them. Though it's also the thing of like, you know, I recognize that this is a gacha game and that it could be better as a game if it weren't that, but it would also have other limitations that would be imposed on it. That you can't really run a live service game for that long a time without monetizing it somehow. And a lot of games do it in ways that I dislike more. You know, the way that Blizzard has historically done that through mostly like skin sales and such like that. Like I don't like it as much. I was fine with it in Overwatch 1 because we had the loot boxes, but even there, it was kind of contentious. You know, it feels like sometimes when we're looking for alternatives to this gacha model, we forget how bad some of the microtransactions are in other games, and other kinds of monetization schemes. You could also just, you know, charge people a monthly fee, but that always has the problem of, like, how do you get people invested? How do you get people in? How do you justify your fee? How do you factor that? Whereas, like, systems like gacha allow the end consumer to adjust how much they're spending. Even in the cases where the consumer has a lot to spend, I've met plenty of people who are just like, yeah, I'm not pulling for extra copies. That seems excessive. You know, I'll take the fun out of it. But of course, there's more stories of people, you know, going goo goo gaga crazy for whatever it is that they're pulling and spending their entire life savings. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this area here. I know that I want to make some sort of stable and such, but I don't know, it feels weird to have this be this flat. But I also want to build over the ravine. I don't want to deal with all the mob spawns either. But lighting this up is gonna be so annoying. It also feels like large creators don't really give this as much thought as they should. Like, you know, little old me just randomly popping into this problem and yammering on about consumer rights is one thing, but, like, I wish that larger creators really took the time to, like, dissect this or, like, speak with people that know about it and give, like, ample charity to both sides. I know that not everyone's educated on these things, but at least, you know, getting to ask some of the questions, sharing their points of view. Like, plenty have done that, but I don't know. It's just unsatisfactory. I get that a lot of times, like, especially when it comes to political issues, they shy away, again, because of a monetary incentive. Whereas, like, smaller streamers are really the ones that, like, take the full brunt of, like, the political discussion. Or, you know, right-wing grifters, as always, but that's something else entirely. It also makes me feel think like, okay, on the topic of both sides, both extremes of the lane, like both lanes of the political spectrum, but it's negatives of identifying with a group that's been like caught up to most of them, right? But it also feels like it was just less common to begin with. It probably existed, but I can't remember any particular examples. I guess like James Charles, but like he has his own issues. Data and actually researching these topics and having like a just largely, it's harder to. I also feel like there's not enough grace given towards, but like there are things to value about like the more traditional like ideologies that are wrapped up into that on the right. It's just that, you know, extremism doesn't really paint anyone in a good light, especially when you come at it with more of a like rational point of view, or a more moderate point of view, I should say. Like a lot of the more polarizing takes tend to be, you know, difficult to stomach for other people, and that's definitely occasionally been the point of a lot of political movements. You know, there's not necessarily much to be gained out of trying to be like passable or clean or manicured, other than some like cursory manipulation, but it's just I don't know, feels weird, y'all. What should I put here? Cause I like this little mound going up to here. I don't know if I want to make a big wall that separates this and have something else on this side, or just like the wall being the end. I feel like the border, and then expand it later on. I should really text some of my friends to like join me. Now that some of them haven't even logged in here. It's like 6 players actively. But it's rare for a lot of us to be playing at the same time. What to do, what to do. I wonder what direction Minecraft is gonna go in the next few years. I know that generally speaking the devs have, like, you know, broadly pointed at the direction that they want the game to go. But, you know, the Minecraft often feels like a game that's developed by several teams that never speak to each other, so... I don't know. One of my friends thinks that it'd be a cool idea to expand even more on Copper and to think of like different gadgets and electrical systems that could be developed like within Minecraft. You know, basic stuff, not really anything like super technologically advanced, but you know, at least something to say like they have an electrical system, even if it's a pretty rudimentary one in the game. And I guess that Redstone kind of feels that Akara, but you know, it's not really what he's referring to. I'm still missing stuff. Oh, I fell. Okay. Smart. Yeah, and I have to do something to texture this. It looks way too boring. It's just a wall. You know, things like this make it look really alive, but like just having a blank ass wall of bricks, yeah, that's kind of it's kind of eh. I could also just texture it and do it like a, you know, like a swooping thing where like the bottom rung of bricks is this tough brick and then everything else is stone brick. Given that the textures are so different, like it makes it look like this is the more weathered one and that's the more like clean, pristine one. Yeah, that might be a good idea. I'll think about it later. I still want to keep building towards this area. I don't know what I'm gonna do for barn design. I want to do something real cozy. I wonder where rhythm games are headed down there. I don't know, thinking about gaming companies in general at this point. But Sega seems to forget that they have so many of the rights to so many good rhythm games, especially Project Diva. It just feels weird that they haven't done anything with that property in a while. I really do hope they're cooking something, though. At this point, it's just been a full-on drought. EAVT is another one. I wish that they would just port EAVT to Steam. I would go crazy for that game. Such a good game. Who would I even like to see? Like, what songs would I like to see in the Project Diva? I feel like Hisoki did such a good job, like, on all the team behind the Eden Project mod, and like including a lot of the songs that I wish I would see in a Project Diva. I kind of wish to just copy that song list and add a few more recent ones on top of it. Of course, it just goes through the zombie. Okay. And if I aim in the direction of the zombie, I can actually hit him. What was the skeleton that was firing at me, actually? Oh, it's down there. Okay, that's a dark spot, probably. Golden helmet, probably. I should probably start taking it off when I do this. Like when I'm not in the nether. Really, dude? At least I'm not getting mob spawns up here, but I'm also not far enough for them to spawn up here. thank you for not setting me on fire. Okay, let's light up where this guy was. For some reason, this was dark enough to have a skeleton walk over there. I guess he could have just spawned somewhere else and just walked towards that direction, but... It's a creeper. Hmm. Huzzah. The idea of falling asleep in a wet ass bed is disturbing. Oh my god, I need to change this before it drives me insane. Keybinds. Search item with offhand is supposed to be this. Follow player. I'll put it in I because it's an empty fucking set. Thank you. Now I can switch. Which doesn't really matter because right now my inventory's full spot. Another block of dots. Gimme. Oh fuck. I haven't full inventory again. Like what do I think that I'm gonna pick up? Very nice, very nice. Will I use bamboo for something eventually? Maybe, but probably not. I just like having it planted. I get 3 stacks of blaze rods. That's another thing that we have around here, blaze farm. God, this is gonna make no fucking sense. Like, why the fuck would I randomly be talking about blaze farms just in, like, after going on a whole, like, the thing about pellets exists. Just talking random Minecraft stuff. Quite the tonal shift. And then just like, what, 20 minutes of complete silence because I forgot to talk. It's to be expected. After all, it is the game that I'm playing, Minecraft. After all, you know, there's not always some like thing to actually capture your attention or to make you really converse about anything. I should have these be smokers instead of regular furnaces. But for now, it's fine like that. Oh, you're still down there, okay. ideas. This might be a good place to stop. I've done a decent bit of progress. Whether or not I'll continue doing this on YouTube is yet to be seen, but I will, probably. If anything, just to have somewhere to, like, yap into the void about concerns that I have. Maybe I should treat this as a little journal of sorts. Could also do it through YouTube Shorts while I'm building, install replay mod and such. Would also be like a good idea. I don't know, I'll make those decisions when they become relevant, really. For now, this was just something to try. Peace.